What would constitute success for Burrow's Bengals this year?
Yeah, Joe Burrow's been to the Super Bowl, but I think he's getting really close to that Super Bowl or bust, like you have to win it situation for Joe Burrow, particularly because of how this offseason has gone. It's been pretty unique in that Joe Burrow made sure to keep both of his really high-profile receivers. You don't do that, and you don't make those type of roster decisions unless it's because you think that you have a championship caliber team. And given how great he was in the regular season last year, yeah, the conversation around him, no matter whether we can blame the defense or not, the conversation around Joe Burrow is the same way it is around the rest of the elite quarterbacks in the league. You got to win the big one.
Yeah, see, it's such an interesting one to me. RC, let me get your take on that, because Hembo and I did an essay a few weeks ago, which we pointed out. Joe Burrow didn't have a good year last year. He had one of the great seasons in NFL history, and it was completely wasted by a defense that was unimaginably bad. And so now we're going to sit here and say Burrow needs to get to the Super Bowl in order to validate how good he is. What are the right things to say about Burrow this year?
That is not true. It's not about validating how good he is, and that's not how I took what Dominique said. It's because he is that good. It's because we know how talented Joe Burrow is. We know how surgical Joe Burrow is. And he also manipulated this offseason to keep both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the team and get them both paid. So you have to deliver. When you have that sort of control, it has to end up in team success. And Joe Burrow is not questioned to me like a Lamar Jackson or like a Josh Allen because we've seen him beat Patrick Mahomes. We've seen him in the Super Bowl. We just need to see it again.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, agree. And look, I think what you're talking about here is the way team success can help stamp a great career. And if Joe Burrow's on his way to the career it looks like he's going to have, then it's an important element. When Dan Marino retired, he had all the records, but he doesn't have them anymore. And no matter what record you set, someone's going to come along and break it. But if you win that championship, then that they can't take from you. So I think if you're Joe Burrow, if you're Lamar Jackson, if you're Josh, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, you need to be able to say, I did that. You do not want to be the answer to the question, who's the best player you ever saw that never won the championship?
That's exactly right. Of all these guys coming along.
Greeny.
Yeah.
Greeny, we have this conversation in basketball all the time. The AFC is what NBA used to be with Michael Jordan because of Patrick Mahomes, because of Andy Reid, right? How many guys are we going to be sitting and be like, you're like Patrick Ewing, you're like Reggie Miller, you're like Charles Barkley? That's what we're seeing with these quarterbacks. If you ask somebody, give me the top 5 quarterbacks in the world right now, 4 of them are going to come from the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. It's about which one of them becomes the first guy to win a Super Bowl. They're all in the same spot. But to me, Joe Burrow has the least amount of questions about his ability to do it.
What do you think, Nick?
Patrick Mahomes does play baseball. We got to figure out how we can get him to play a couple seasons in the minor leagues so we can get these Super Bowls somewhere else. Get Hakeem in there.
To give other guys a chance. No. Look, we made this analogy last year. And the players I used were Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, and Charles Barkley. In any order you want to put them, they're 3 of the greatest players ever. They were 3 first-ballot Hall of Famers. And all 3 of them have in common the misfortune of having had their primes at the same time as Michael Jordan. So none of them won a championship. The one guy who did was Olajuwon. He got his 2 during that period, whereas Dominique points out, Michael went off to play baseball. That's probably not going to happen here with Mahomes. So, RC, which one of these guys do you have your money on? Which one of these guys is finally going to be the first AFC quarterback to win that Super Bowl?
You know what? To me, it has to be Josh Allen. I just feel like I've seen Josh Allen in the biggest moments show up. You can go back to that 4th down last year when he's fading away. He gave Dalton Kincaid an opportunity to catch that ball. We watched him in a divisional round a few years back get beat because Tyreek Hill beats a cornerback inside and 2-man on a dig and gets off to the races. There's been so many opportunities where I've looked at Josh Allen and said, you know what? You've done enough. I also believe that his team is good enough. Now, they're going to need some wide receivers to step up and make some plays and win some one-on-ones. But after watching the way that this offense has changed under Joe Brady, I believe that they have a chance to do it.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. It's not the conversation we're planning to have, but sometimes the conversations you have wind up being even better as we continue.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.